Hello, Rick here with my impressions and review of Star Trek Discovery's Season 3, Episode 3, People of Earth. There will be spoilers ahead. As if the series was answering my every whim in order, we get both the promotion of Saru to the command chair, which I'm very happy with. With Burnham out of practice for a year, it makes sense that the position goes to him, but more than that, he's truly earned it in the eyes of his crew. However, that confidence takes a knock when he then commands the situation in Earth's orbit, and the crew cannot fathom his actions, leading to some more stern captaining. And then Tilly exhibits the realizations that I'd been hoping to see addressed. Everyone and everything they knew has gone, and the only comfort is that they didn't all die, they were just forced to leave it all behind. This kind of loss is no less painful to experience, and seeing her realise that her family would have woken up one day to be told Discovery was simply gone, when the truth is more complicated, yeah, it was sad, and I think that poignancy is going to hopefully linger in the background for a while. Time heals all wounds, but it's also the cause of many scars. No word on Detmer's situation yet, though. Speaking of character development, I look forwards to seeing how Burnham's character may be evolving in the coming episodes. I wasn't overly bothered by her being the focal point of the show, but her initial actions all that time ago in Season 1 still leaves a bad impression on me, and I struggled to identify with her for a long time. The fact that they're pointing out how different Burnham seems to the crew is an obvious attempt to develop her further, and I like the rough edge she's manifesting. She's had a year out here with no oversight, no connections, and is placed in a universe that, for the most part, has forgotten Starfleet. The relationship between her and Book has clearly been her anchoring point, and although Booker denies any romantic involvement, there's definite chemistry between the two. The time they spent together is made apparent with the list of events and adventures the two reference, and Burnham's goal has not been to restore the UFP all by herself, but simply find out what the hell the burn was. A more attainable goal, but nonetheless a task she's made little progress in. They do point out that the dilithium across the universe didn't actually explode, it simply became inert. Still a mystery, which Stamets declares to be impossible, and by our understanding of dilithium he'd seemingly be correct, but nonetheless it happened, and many ships simply stalled, while those that were at active warp suffered catastrophic reactions in their cores and boom. Millions were lost, which is a lot, but not on the scale I was imagining. The real damage was that the fact that the UFP was deprived of its most necessary mode of travel. There is a line where they say that the UFP played with different methods of FTL travel, but none panned out. Honestly, I find this hard to believe, but it's a kind of necessary suspension of disbelief. Most tech can be hand-waved away as also being reliant on dilithium or some form of it, but we've already had references to quantum slipstream drive and artificial wormholes. The latter was unstable and destroyed subspace, an event worse than the burn, but there are a myriad of other abilities out there. Although Starfleet's track record with many of them hasn't been stellar, it's also mentioned that dilithium reserves began to dry up around 2958, so Starfleet would have had several years of motivation to discover a new source of locomotion. I'm sure a reason can be contrived to explain why each one failed. Lore is to serve as the story after all, not the other way around, but I still want to know specifics. Honestly though, that would make for a dull show, but I mean, I'd pay to see a meeting of Starfleet engineers explaining to Stamets and Reno every permutation of faster than light travel and why it didn't work. But I'm weird. So, Earth is doing fine. Actually, it's doing fine. Which is a problem by itself, as it painted it as a target for others who were not. Repeated raids on the planet led to it becoming very standoffish and defensive against all comers to protect itself. The biggest blow seems to be that the Federation has withdrawn from Earth sometime around 3089 in order to protect the planet against, well, just this kind of attention after the burn. The thing is, Starfleet never returned and the former capital of the UFP was left to defend itself, which evidently it did. Very well. Maybe a little too well. The United Earth has always been part of the Federation since its inception. The UE is simply Earth's government and the UFP member world. So it's good to see that after they were left to their own devices, the planet didn't simply sit twiddling its thumbs. The planet, from everything we saw, looks mostly like the utopia that it was forged into under the Federation. It's created its own defence fleet to replace the duties that Starfleet once held. The only issue that presents itself is that the assume the worst style protocols left it driving away even its own neighbours. The answer to this issue was simply dialogue. Very Trek. The reveal that not only are the supposed raiders humans, but literally from Titan, easily ensures common ground, and by the end of it all, the UE is willing to work on an exchange of technology, the beginnings of an alliance. Looks like step 1 of rebuilding the Federation is completed. Stabilise a base of power. I think they're really going to need to beef up the Discovery, however. I'm happy to see that in a scrap, the Discovery really is 900 years out of date. From full shielding, a single quantum torpedo strips them of that defence and enough damage that a second hit would destroy the Discovery. Yeah, these guys are going to need to get some better gear. So far the only advantage they have is the spore drive. We are introduced to Adira Tal, a human with a Trill symbiont. Humans have acted as hosts for symbionts before, although the connection is not as good. At first I was wondering if the Tal symbiont is partly the reason for her intellect, and then I realised that that might be a question everyone who encounters them would ask, and what a knock to confidence that probably is. Considering the actor chosen, the themes of self-discovery and understanding may be apt, if that is where they are taking Adira's character. 3 other small details. It is mentioned that the Alpha Quadrant is a whole nother quadrant than the one Burnham and Book operated in, which would be... I still don't know. And Burnham, in her year-long quest for answers, finds a data drive or something Starfleet from a ship with the registry NCC 4774. Maybe something something. This doesn't seem to conform to any previously mentioned ship, not unexpected I guess, considering the intervening years. And thirdly, they acknowledged that the Trill kept the whole joined species thing a secret, as no one knew what a Trill symbiont was, although they knew of the Trill, an accurate lore addition. Although the Federation itself may have known for a while, it only became public knowledge around the mid-2360s. It was a respected secret for the protection of the symbionts. So, all in all, Season 3 continues at pace with the reunification of the UFP's former HQ and a clear path to follow now. Track down the new base of operations, from where Admiral Tal originated. Although it was 12 years ago and he died 2 years later. Looks like they need to take Adira Tal to a symbiont colony. Thanks for watching this review and impressions video on episode 3 of season 3 of Discovery. How do you think the series is handling the portrayal of future Earth? I'm so glad it wasn't a desolate wasteland. So until the next vid, thanks for watching and I'll see you later. Goodbye.